Hello, welcome to the Powerfish Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Fish, and today we're just kind of gonna shoot some shit. Talk about stuff, stories,
We
things
realized
like that.
earlier, but just a few minutes ago, how incredible bullshitters we are. Judging by how long we can talk about home appliances and drinks, which is freaking stupid.
That is absolutely fucking stupid.
Speaking of previous episodes, So I'm going to open this with some context that you need to listen to a previous episode for.
Let's go listen to that.
Let's go.
Go check that out.
Go check that out real quick. So go listen to our episode of Reddit Would You Rathers.
Click the card in the top right corner of the screen.
Top right corner of the screen, if we remember to put it up there in a card.
I will remember, or somebody
And
will.
also assuming you're watching on YouTube, listening, whatever.
Oh yeah, if you're on Spotify, you're fricked.
I mean, kill yourself, really. Don't do that. Anyway, at the end of about the whole entire latter half of that episode was us arguing about consciousness. So I have changed my view.
Oh,
I don't fully agree with you still. I don't think consciousness is unique.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it wouldn't be possible for you to agree with me. God forbid.
But I do think I agree with you in the fact that consciousness is not something that is filled in, so to speak, with your genetics and experiences. I believe it's just a present thing that is unchanging from birth to death. I believe that now. However, I still do not believe that it is unique from person to person. What I think that would be is a soul, and I don't think that exists. I don't think there's anything that makes each person spiritually unique.
So
I think the only thing that makes us unique is biological.
Basically, what I just heard you say is your same opinion again, rephrased.
Well, last time I thought that consciousness was something that could change and be manipulated and filled, sort of inhabited with your own with your genetics and experiences.
Yeah.
And that's what made our consciousness different. But I don't think that's the case. I've changed my mind.
I also don't think
I've done
that's
some
the case.
thinking. But I also do not think that my consciousness is unique from anybody else's. I think we all have the ability of consciousness, and that's where it stops.
Sick.
So just wanted to clear that one up.
I don't honestly have much of an input on that because not only have we absolutely exhausted that conversation, but I mean, that really just comes down to a difference.
Really, if you want to listen to an hour of us arguing about this, go listen to the Reddit Would You Rather.
It's simply mind-boggling, the tangents that can be tangentialized.
You'll listen to a couple of Would You Rathers. Few of them are interesting. Few of them aren't. Gotta be honest, few of them aren't. But the latter half of that episode, you will learn
Nothing
from start to end, from start to finish. But it'll be an interesting listen, I guess, if you're at all interested in things that the human race knows nothing about, which I certainly am.
It was an interesting discussion. I will give us that, but we are the last people to be qualified to speak on it, and that's
like I said, we're great at bullshitting.
We are the bullshit. Speaking of bullshit, let me let you know something that happened near a couple.
I know all about bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. Let me fill you in on something that happened near a couple minutes ago. There's been a little bit of build up to it, but the resolution of this was fulfilled a couple minutes ago. So we live in an apartment, and we moved into this apartment last September.
You and your significant other.
Correct. Not we as in me and you.
No,
get
definitely
away from,
not.
Get away from my home.
If that were the case, we would not be recording this on two separate frickin'.
Yeah, that would just be highly stupid. Anywho's
Oh, shit. I dropped my mug root beer. And oh shit.
Hey, I got one of them.
I dropped my mug root beer and I opened it. One mistake after the next, really.
That's
Sorry, continue.
I will try to continue from where I left off, which was somewhere in my conversation that I was gonna. Anywho, so my significant other and I moved into this place last September, and then we've lived here coming up on a year, and we plan to move out. So we get a notice on our door several days ago, and it says, "Hey, if y'all want to move out, you got to give us a written notice that you're going to move out by basically the end of the week. You got to let us know right freaking now, because your lease is up in August, at the beginning of August." So I'm like, huh. Well, that's odd.
And it's late May right now.
And it's late May right
May
now.
30th.
It is, in fact, the absolute tail end of May. So I'm like, huh. Why would my lease be up at the beginning of August if we didn't move in until September 5th, I believe, is what it was. So that was confusing. So I'm scrambling to get the next place lined up. I'm trying to get that form filled out. I'm getting all this stuff all situated, because now I thought I had an extra month to figure all this out. I don't. It's freaking.
What's the timeline on you getting a next place lined up? Did you you said this happened in the last couple of minutes. That happened in the last couple of minutes? When did you find the next place?
No, we're not at the last couple of minutes. The last couple of minutes is what I'm going to end this story with. The next place thing has been a development over the last month, which I have, as you know, taken great strides today with texting the bro and getting those applications in and all that shit. Okay. So that'll be good. I hope to hear back from him. But anyway, yeah. So once we hear back from him, then we can actually finalize, walk through, deposit, get ready to move again. But all that got expedited or needed to be expedited because oh shit, we're coming up now. We got 2 months and we haven't even finalized on the place we're going. So we gotta go. So we got back and I'm like, I'm just gonna freak it. I already texted the new place's landlord and and I told him, I was like, hey man, we might have to move up the timeline if that's possible, But I told him, I was like, but let me go talk to the landlord just to straighten things out, just to make sure. And I got to talk to them about an intent to vacate form and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. Go to the landlord's office, talk to my landlord, and I was like, hey, before I said anything else about leaving, I was like, hey, I saw the thing on the door. When the frick is the end of my lease? And they were like, August 1st, the start of August. I was like, okay, how is it at the start of August when we didn't even move in until how did we move? How is it at the start of August? We didn't even move in until after September. How is that possible? And she's just like, well, just because it is, And I was like,
but why?
Explain you.
It's a year lease, right?
Right. And I was like, explain you.
Not a
how this
lease
would happen. It's not month to month, it's a year. And she was like, well, I'll just pull out your file. And I was like, let's. So she pulls out my file, pulls it out. She was like, you know what? Your lease comes up on August 31st. And I was like, does it? Does it now? Which is fine. Which honestly, to wrap that all up, that's what happened a couple of minutes ago. It's honestly perfect because
gotcha.
I mean, not only is that more time, obviously the amount of time I had, but I mean, we could always sign on to another apartment in the middle of fucking August. If this guy gets my text back and it's like, oh shit, yeah, we can get you in sometime mid-August or whatever. That's fine. We'll just we'll pay for this unit August 1st, and then just kind of have two places, and then have a couple weeks to move, so that's fine. Right. It worked out perfect, but there for a couple days I was full scramble mode, stressing about and then she pulled and then I was like, hey, I don't know, I got to get in this written freaking form, which the form that I was just mentioning, the intent to vacate form, said it was due well, I guess it'd be tomorrow, the 31st of May. And so that's why I was like, hey, I don't have this form for you. I also don't have a functional printer, I could like handwrite you something, or I could like get somebody to print something for me. And then so apparently that wasn't even a problem either. She just whips out this freaking pre-made slip that I can just fill out. So that's cool. And it's not even due till August something, or not fucking August, not July something, which is also good. So that means I don't have to actually sign a intent to vacate form without having somewhere lined up, because that would suck. Because do you know what that means, Benjamin?
Impending homelessness.
Yeah, that means my unit that I'm sitting my ass in currently goes on the market while I'm sitting in it. And then if I decide later on, hey, that thing fell through, I need to stay here, they can be like, nah, fam.
Fuck your ass.
So I told the landlord, I was like, okay. And she said, yeah, that's actually, since it's a month out, it's actually going to be due July 1st. That's when this form is due. You don't have to get back to me. And I said, honestly, that's fucking perfect. We can actually finalize something and not freaking impend homelessness.
Now you just got more days to milk and then rush when you get to it.
Yeah. Now I can procrastinate even further.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's as expected. Speaking of procrastinating and other dumb shit, fucking when I dropped the mug, we gotta tell you guys a story about us purchasing this here zero sugar mug root beer a couple days back.
Couple two tree, yeah.
So we were going to. It was at a grocery store. Grocery store. Is it grocery store or is it
So there's no like sh sound in that word, but it's
it's
C.
not. Yeah, it's not spelled like that, isn't it?
But the C's can do weird things. That's all I have
English
to say.
Can do weird things too.
Pronunciation.
We got to get an answer on this. I'm putting my story on pause right now because we got to get.
Wow, I just absolutely butchered the spelling of the word pronunciation.
I think. Thinking about it, I don't even know which way I typically say it. I think I usually say grocery, even though I didn't just then.
I say it with a sh. Groceries. Always. Not because I think it's correct or anything, just because that's the way I say it.
Do I usually say it
The
like
American pronunciation, according to this thing that Google popped up, has... Actually, let me just play it. Can I play this?
Grocery.
Get that Google robot speaking to you.
They say grocery. I'm going to play it again on the Google.
Grocery.
Grocery. They say grocery.
They say there's no sh.
They say grocery. Now let me, because this is the definitive way to get any information. Let me go to r/English.
Yeah.
How groceries. See, I just said groceries. How groceries is pronounced. Australian English is. Whoa! I don't even know how to read that pronunciation. It's got a. It's got a horseshoe.
We ain't there though.
Yeah, we're not there.
If we were in Australia, we'd be seeing a lot more big spiders, and I ain't about that.
Yeah, not dude. I pronounce it groceries, but it almost sounds like groceries. Yeah, that's true. Groceries.
I say grocer. I think I say groceries. I think.
There might be a slight class distinction between the two.
Class?
I mean, that's like
like caste system kind of class?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like
as in higher class, lower class?
Basically, like, posh people might say it a different way. Groceries.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that's actually as much of a thing with that specific word, but maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know if groceries.
So what we're getting at here is there's no definitive answer here.
Yeah, it is.
Is that what's coming about?
Yeah,
here?
I'm coming to. It's interchangeable.
Okay.
More or less.
I think I'm gonna continue to say it the way that it looks like it's spelled.
Groceries.
Groceries.
Well, it could look like it could be spelled groceries. How is it spelled? My overarching.
How's this word spelled again?
My overarching point being English is stupid.
Oh yeah.
It could be spelled. Could be spelled grockery.
Grockery. Grockery. What was that last name we saw? Cockhouse or something? Cock
John.
I know. Cock John. as a delivery driver, I see a lot of last names, and one of them was Cock John today. Kokjohn.
Which are
Cock
both
John.
euphemisms for penises.
Yeah.
You might as well
Like-
just have your last name be penis.
You might as well just change your name right here, right now. It means the same as saying it. Penis. Anyway, what was I? Right, grocery. Groceries. So we were at the grocery store. I'm sitting at my desk right here, right now. Right then, right there, actually. And a few days ago, I would get a call on my cell phone. Fish is Snapchat video calling me. And you show me a cart outside of the grocery store with a cartload of this zero sugar mug root beer. And we talk about it for a while, honestly. We try to figure out how much there is in there. Because there's 50, it was outside because it expires
June 3rd in a couple days, basically.
Yeah, it expires in a few days. That's why I was out there. But it's soda, so it expires when the world burns.
It's not like it's really going to go bad.
Yeah. On that, I'm going to take another derailment here real quick.
Awesome.
I have had... So my grandpa, he used to drink a lot of soda back in the day, and he stopped, and he got healthy and stuff, but he kept all his... So, like, he didn't just throw his soda away that he had.
Yeah.
So it was in his mini fridge for, like, literal double-digit years. Like,
Jesus.
So the oldest, and naturally, me and my brother being idiots, we wanted to try some of it. We had a Diet Pepsi that was, I think, like 8 years expired. What else was there? I thought there was a few others, but I can only remember the Diet Pepsi. Several of them were years expired. And we tried them, and the carbonation was completely gone in all of them. But the taste was identical. It just tasted like it had been open for a day. Like it was... Nothing happened.
That's wild.
We didn't like piss fire the next day or something.
Well, it's so chemically treated, you know?
Yeah. So reason I bring that up is that's why we're not worried that these expire in a few days, because they're going to be the exact same.
Right.
Regardless, so we were trying to count how many there was in the cart, and I said count how many, like, on a X and Y axis there are, and we'll multiply that away. And I came up to, like, I said like 90, 100, you said like 100, 110.
Yeah.
In this cart. And when you get through, I then decide that I want to go halvesies on this, because at 50 cents a pop, like, come on now. So I go over there, you're scanning all of them. Yeah, you are putting them in bags of 10. And what did you say you did? You were counting them and then just gave up? And then had to recount to make sure you scanned them all?
So what had happened was I was scanning them individually. Like, I took one out, scanned it on the scanner, and put it in a bag. I was doing that for a while because there was just so many. I couldn't just, like, count them all and then just grab one and scan them that amount, because there was just too many to count all at once. So I scanned up to a certain point where I was like, okay, there's a little enough in the cart that I can comfortably count this. So I think I got like through like 30 of them. I scanned and bagged like 30 of them, and then I counted the rest of them, and I counted 48, and I was like, well, that doesn't sound right, because we estimated at least 90.
We estimated double that.
Exactly.
So when you got through scanning all of them, it came out to 39 smackaroos, $39.
Yeah.
Which at $39, 50 cents a piece, that's 78 bottles right there.
Yeah. So we had to back 78 and not 92.
Yeah. So we weren't that far off, but we were pretty far off. Anyway, so we get them all, we scan them in, purchase them, get the receipt, and we need to calculate how many to give each other. And to do this, You take the price, the total price, $39. I'm going to tell you how to get this calculation. And it's real easy if you put your mind to it. I looked at this receipt and I took $39 and doubled it to get the total quantity, which was 78. You take 78 and you divide that by 2. And that equals that equation is how much to give each other. And you know what that number comes back
What
to?
does it come out to?
39. The number that was exactly on the receipt right in front of our faces the whole time anyway.
So fucking stupid.
That was the stupidest shit. And then you thought you were about to do it again, but what you were actually trying to do was take 39 and divide it by 2 to equal out how much I need to pay you, which wasn't actually the case because with tax it was $42.24.
Yeah.
So I ended up paying you $21.06.
There was far too many numbers flying about.
Yeah. It was rough, man. So to get the number 39, I took the number 39, multiplied it by 2, and then divided that number by 2 to get how many we gave each other. So fucking stupid.
Just so there's no confusion, that is.
Yeah, just to make sure that math checks out. My God. Oh my God. Speaking of us both being fucking idiots, that time we were in St. frickin' Louis and we took the same exit like 5 times.
We've been meaning to bring this up on the podcast for a while.
This was like 3 months ago. It might have been even longer than that. We've been meaning to bring this up. God damn, this was so long ago. How did that even start?
So the reason we were going that way, if anybody's been to or is from the St. Louis area, definitely check out a restaurant. It's called Tucanos, I do believe.
Yeah, Tucanos.
It's a Brazilian grill. I've been several times. Ben's never been, and it still hasn't been as of the conclusion of this day.
I still haven't been, and the reason why is you'll find the hell out.
But yeah, no, definitely check that restaurant out if you haven't. But we were going because I was like, we gotta go. It's freaking delicious. We gotta go. But we're heading there. Now I don't recall all the events clearly. You'll probably have to tell a lot of this because I don't remember it clearly.
It was a while ago. Well, it'll have to come back.
But I remember we were driving towards the place and there's an exit, right?
Right.
We take the exit. From the exit, you hang a left to head towards the building. From that.
Wait, no. Rewind.
Okay, rewind me and take over because I might be missing something.
We need to take the exit.
Okay.
And from the exit, you take a left onto the street.
Right.
And from that street, you go straight, not that far. And then I believe it was to your right? Down the road a little bit was Tucanos?
Yes. So you go
right, okay.
You go the Tucanos is on the left, but you at that road under the overpass.
Yeah.
There's several roads, and then the one on the left side loops back to the interstate, and then the one on the two on the right side go forward, and you need to go forward to get into the left lane to go left to go into Tucanos.
Okay, yeah. So, first time we need to take the exit, you and me were talking about something, I blow past it. So, next exit, these exits are miles apart. Literally, like, it was a 6 or 7 minute drive one way between exits. Miserable. So, I blow past it. I take a different one, do a loop-de-loop, get back on, I believe.
I'm pulling up Google Maps, by the way.
You are? Google Maps? Yeah, so I believe I get back on, start heading back after several minutes wasted at this point already. I find another exit on the other side. I'm on my way back. We pass it. I'm on my other side. We get on the exit and loop back around. So now we're in trajectory to reach this exit once more.
But are we coming from the opposite direction now?
I believe so. We're coming from the opposite direction. We're about to hit this exit. So I think I hit the exit. I get it this time. Off the exit to the right-hand side, which is where we need to go from this direction, there's a roundabout, a 2-lane roundabout. I get on this roundabout in the wrong lane. I get in the roundabout on the I believe it's the inside lane, which doesn't allow you to exit off of it on the street we needed to be on. But where it does allow you to exit is back onto the interstate in the opposite direction. I believe that's what happened. So we're back on the interstate, heading back the way we came. 5 to 8 minutes go by again. I find another exit, get it, loop around. Now we're back on our way to the exit that I originally blew past. I get on this. I make it. I hit the exit. We need to take a left off the exit. I take a left. There's 3 lanes from this exit onto the street. 3 lanes. My Google map has the lanes mapped out. It tells me to get on, what was it? The center lane, I believe?
Yeah.
And then we look ahead and see what other cars are doing. And you and me go back and forth about this in a matter of seconds because we're going forward with a lot of cars in front of us and behind us. And we're like, that is not right. That guy was just on this lane and he took the exit. So we need to get over.
Right.
So we get over. Little did we know that what we saw was wrong. And we just got over onto the exit of that street back onto the interstate. Going the opposite direction. So this is time number 3 that we are on the interstate unintentionally. We have already wasted beyond 20 minutes at this point. So we do 5 to 8 minute drive on the way back. We get on that turnaround, fucking exit, enter back on, going the other way, and we're in trajectory to get the exit again, the correct one.
Yeah.
So we hit the correct exit again. We get on the right street. We follow Google's instructions this time. And did I get in the wrong lane in the roundabout again?
So I don't actually think there's a roundabout there. So I'm looking at it.
Was it not a roundabout?
Well, here, look at I shared my screen with you.
Oh shit.
I'm right now looking at the interchange
okay,
in question.
so yeah, it wasn't a roundabout.
So
okay.
we come in.
It was a fucking crisscross.
So we come in from this away, and we come in, and we take this lane now, right? So now, because now we know.
Let me get this on the monitor that I'm recording here.
Well, I'm also recording here.
Okay.
So we come in this way, I believe, the first time, and then that just looped us back around. So now we know, because now we're smart, and we are intelligent people at this point in time, because we have had experiences. So we know we're going to take this lane, this outside lane. That's the smart way to do this. Leads in to nothing, by the way, to nothing.
To nothing. Yes, it vanishes.
Which it kind of like joins in here, maybe, but also here. So it goes, and then it goes. And then I think what we did was didn't realize that this splits off here to go straight. And then I think we took this.
Yes. So we got into the correct lane this time. We followed Google's instructions. But instead of going straight, I took the left and back onto the interstate.
There we go again, right here.
So this is time number 4 that we're back onto the interstate.
Here we go. We loop-de-loop-de-loop.
And then, there's the loop-de-loop. So we loop-de-loop 5 to 8 minutes away. And I believe time number 5, we finally get it right.
We figured it out. And we
figured
went.
it out. And by this time, we've wasted 45 minutes, and the place is too full for us to check in.
Exactly. This parking lot was packed.
Yes. And they closed too soon with too many checked in, and we did not get it. So that is why I have yet to be yet to visit Tucano's.
And you're missing out because it's delicious. Not that you would know.
Not that I would know, because I don't. That shit was insane.
Oh my fuck. I mean, you and I have the amount of trips we've been on.
The
amount of stories on the road is nothing short of astounding.
You'd think that kind of road, that kind of traffic, that kind of arrangement, that kind of layout would be in Kansas City. Kansas City has the fucky-wuckiest overpass roads I've ever seen.
There's really no other way to describe it even. Fucky-wucky.
There's 15 lanes that turn into 3 with 18 exits in a matter of half a mile with 3 overpasses and 2 underpasses. And they all look the same on Google Maps. It's so... I can't stand driving in Kansas City. Is it better in St. Louis? Because the drivers all got their driver's licenses in Missouri, where you don't need to do nothing but take a test, and they're all driving 20 over.
I mean, Kansas City, half of them drivers are that way.
Yeah, it's not much better there.
I mean, I don't know. I would say Kansas City is certainly a bigger city than St. Louis.
Oh yeah,
but is the infrastructure better?
Dude, I don't know. I don't like it. The roads are so confusing in Kansas City.
One thing I would surmise it this way. St. Louis driving, the drivers are incredibly aggressive.
Maniacs.
They're absolute demons.
Yeah.
Kansas City is not quite that way, but the roads themselves are just confusing, and that's the problem. It's a different problem entirely. Because I don't really feel like I get lost very much in St. Louis. Unless it's that one particular fucking...
You know what was a place that was really easy to drive in that was also a really big city? Des Moines.
I've never been to Des Moines.
It felt like driving in any other... It felt like driving here. It felt like driving in any other city. It literally didn't feel like an enormously huge city to drive in. It was, but it didn't feel like that at all. I literally didn't even think... Like, when I'm driving in St. Louis or Kansas City, I'm always thinking, like, my driving capacity is much more utilized at any given time than it is here, of course. And it felt the same in Des Moines as it is here. Like, I didn't feel like I was thinking about my driving habits and the other drivers around me constantly.
And it's like, that's like a big city, right? Relatively.
Yeah, Des Moines is big. I don't think it's bigger than... It's not bigger than Kansas City. It might be... I don't even think it's bigger than St. Louis. It's not huge.
Yeah.
But it's a big-ass city.
I've never been. Like, ever.
Is it bigger than St... I'm looking at the populations for St. Louis and Des Moines. St. Louis. I'm going to look at the metropolitan area.
Yeah, that's for the best.
Population. So the St. Louis metro area population is 2.8 million. Des Moines. Oh yeah, it's not even close. It's 700,000. That's probably why it didn't feel like it was crazy driving. What's Kansas City? Kansas City is
lots of millions.
2.4 million.
And what was St. Louis?
More than that. St. Louis was
really
2.8 million. So the metro area of St. Louis has 400,000 more than Kansas City even. What about the actual cities? St. Louis is 286,000. Kansas City is 510,000.
So
Kansas City... Okay, so actual Kansas City is more than twice the size of St. Louis.
So basically...
But the metro area of St. Louis is vaster.
Yeah, the freaking... the city center, the city center, like the downtown area and that shit is like just dense as frick.
Okay, and Des Moines is bigger than St. Louis. It's 211,000.
That's wild. And what was remind me again? What was St. Louis?
St. Louis was. Oh, sorry, it's not bigger. It's a little bit smaller. 286,000.
That's closer than I would have expected. But
yeah, so Des Moines and St.
yeah.
Louis are really close in size. Kansas City is double the size of them. But the metro area of St. Louis just eats both of them.
St. Louis Metro is just absolutely massive. Which, I mean, checks out. As many times as you and I have been to St. Louis, it takes a minute to get.
It's a literal 45-minute drive to get from north side to south side.
Longer than a minute, matter of fact. It takes quite a while to get from side to side, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking about moving is St. Louis. That's one thing about it, though. Like, if you want to work,
don't go to the east side.
Somewhere. Well, it depends on how far you go, though. Because, like, my girlfriend's parents live, east side St. Louis, but east side Metro St. Louis. They live in, like, the Belleville, O'Fallon, like all that. Way.
Well, there's also a
a
northwest side O'Fallon. There's 2 O'Fallons in St. Louis.
Yeah, we're talking about Illinois, the Illinois side of the river.
Okay,
but that area is nice as frig. I mean, I don't remember which town exactly betwixt those, or around there. But like a lot of the Cardinals players live there and stuff. I mean, it's like a nice area over there. But if you want to get, to and from the city from there, gotta drive through East St. Louis.
Okay, so you got to go through the ghetto.
I mean, granted, you're driving on the highways above them, but
Oh, so yeah, it probably don't matter. I used to have a truck driver that lived on East Side St. Louis, and needless to say, he certainly looked like he lived there.
What does that even mean?
He looked like he just fit in well. He fucking had like some golden teeth, chains all over himself. It looked like he did a number of drugs.
A number of them.
Yeah. As a truck driver. But yeah,
we're thinking about moving down there, but definitely not freaking East St. Louis. But going back to what we were saying, the drivers there are wild.
Maniacs.
I don't even know if we could count how many times we've been driving down there and just casually see somebody going 90, 95, 100 mile an hour.
Legit. I mean, when there's 5 lanes, your right lane is like you're taking an exit. Your second from right is you're going the speed limit. Your third from right is you're going 5 over. Fourth from right is you're going probably 80. You need to get somewhere. And fifth from right might as well be the Autobahn. Like, it's insane.
On a side note, though, since you brought it up anyway, what do you think about the Autobahn?
I wish we had a freaking Autobahn here.
I wish we had one. That sounds awesome. And I'm not even a speed demon, but for efficiency's sake, shit, like,
Well, if you're talking efficiency, the most fuel efficient speed is 65 mile an hour.
Certainly what I'm talking about is time efficiency.
Yeah, okay.
Time on the road efficiency.
Yeah.
Cuz like my car even and it's a shit box. It's not. It's just not got a powerful engine. It's a fine car. But even that car can get up to some speeds if you give it not enough time to do so.
If you give it enough time and distance.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get there quickly, but if you give it enough time, it'll get up to speed. So, frick, if we had like a freaking trip to a city or whatever, shit, you fucking hop on the Autobahn and go freaking, I don't know, 120 if you want to be real crazy about it.
I mean, shit, we were testing out not long after I got the car I have now in St. Louis. We got onto that Autobahn lane and we tested out like I'd never gone fast in it, and we went 90 without even really breaking too much of a sweat. Cause
you talking about the RDX?
No, the TL, the one that I got. Because remember we tried it.
Oh, yeah. You're talking
the RDX was fast as fuck too, but the TL, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the TL was also. I mean, that's for for a luxury car or like a luxury take on the what is Acura's the
Acura
luxury
is
of
a
what? Is that
a
Lexus?
Honda.
Or not, I asked if that was Lexus. That's the luxury brand of Toyota.
Toyota.
Yeah,
Acura is just a fancy Honda, really.
Yeah, for a more luxury focused brand, those cars get up and go.
Yeah, when we went to St. Louis one time because I had to get a timing belt changed in my TL, and they gave us a literal brand new 2024 RDX
This is what I was talking about.
to try it, and
That car was wild.
that car was fucking insane. It was insane. In comfort mode, it felt like the roads were all perfectly paved basketball courts. And in sport mode, it felt like it was a sports car. And it literally had, granted, these might be normal features by this point, but we don't drive very new cars. Both of our cars are 2013s. But this thing had a literal HUD, a heads-up display, like just in front of you, hovering. It was it was crazy. It felt like the windshield was like a hologram thing. It was so sick. Heated and cooled seats and 3 stages of each. It was, yeah.
Cooled seats is wild to me.
It literally got rid of swamp ass.
Of which I have plenty to go around.
Yeah, it was crazy.
To have a seat that's a swamp ass, a swass, if you will, exterminator built into it is wild.
Yeah, and it literally, it wasn't just cooled seats, it was ventilated seats with a fan. So it literally was a bidet, but air for your asshole. It was so sick.
These car seats literally squirt water into your asshole. They're bidets.
Yeah.
Dude, I would, if I had a casual $70,000
What did we
to
look
drop
at?
right
It was
now,
like $54,000, wasn't it, as spec'd?
I think it was maybe in the 50s for the absolute most base model you can possibly get.
Yeah, it was the base model. It was crazy.
And if you want like any of the nice stuff, I mean, it's going to be nice. Even at the base model, it's going to be nice. But if you want like any of the other packages or anything, you're looking 60, 70 thou. Easy. Easy.
Yeah, them Acuras, God, they are sick. They are cool.
What
They're
I
very
drive is way less than cool. Like it's negative.
I drive a 2013 Acura TL, which I think is cool because I came from a 2003 Cadillac, which even Cadillac tried to cram as much stuff as they could back in 2003, but
by today's standards, it's not.
By today's standards, it's still not, that much. But going from that to a 2013 TL, it feels like insane. But going from anything to that 2024 RDX, felt like I was in a spaceship.
It literally was a spaceship.
Yeah.
What I drive is also 2013, as you said, a 2013 Hyundai Sonata. And I don't want to tarnish
the literal budgetist sedan you can buy.
And I don't want to tarnish the name of Hyundai too much because from what I understand, in the last several years, they've really turned themselves around.
Yeah, I've heard they've been coming out with some cool ass stuff.
But in the year, like in the surrounding years that my car was built, they just pumped out some shit boxes. They really did.
Literal shit. Like your car's engine exploding in the Taco John's.
We'll get to that. I want to tell that story. But like overview, big picture issues with the car. It's got electrical issues as far as like stuff inside the car, just kind of stuff just doesn't work. Or I told you about this, Ben, about the buttons just like shifting around. I've told you about that, right?
Oh
Like
my God, your steering wheel controls.
The buttons on the steering wheel just like
and
shift
your
into new
volume
places.
slider. Oh my God, your volume slider made me want to die.
It literally makes me want to kill myself every day. But yeah, like for those things, and then in general, just it underperforms. It's just not. I mean, granted, it's not a performance vehicle, and the price reflects that. But it just
which you overpaid,
which I overpaid if I'm being completely honest. But man, for its weight, it just can't push itself fast enough and I am not, and I want to be clear, I know we were just talking about the Autobahn. I am not a speed demon. I like driving safe and cautious and make sure and I'm doing the right things on the road. I don't want to speed, unless.
But unfortunately, part of being safe when you're driving in a place like St. Louis is being able to get up and go fast,
especially
when you're coming off of like when you're merging into an interstate.
Yeah, no,
being able to get up and go is damn near necessary.
You need to be able to get, because I mean, there are several definitely entrances to the interstate that are long and expansive and get time. Sometimes though, you get like a couple hundred feet.
Yeah,
and that's what you get.
And when the car next to you is going 80, you better get.
And there's lines of them going 80 as well.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
and none of them give a fuck about getting over for you because they're St. Louis drivers.
No. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in general, to anybody buying a car, don't get a performance vehicle because you want to go freaking fast. Because I mean, unless you want to, but I'll just say that I think that's stupid. Don't let me tell you what to do and not to do.
I mean, unless you're trying to buy like a car for it to be tracked or something.
Oh well, that's just that's what you do if you're doing that. But yeah, I think it's dumb to go fast on streets that you're not legal to go that fast on, especially if you're doing it in an unsafe manner. But what I will say is, if you live in a big city or plan on going to a big city often, having a vehicle that, like, I don't care, I don't really give a shit about top speed. 0 to 60 though, that matters to me, because that's my, how fast can I get up to speed merging onto an interstate, time wise, getting up to speed. That's important, because that becomes a safety thing at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway, what Ben was teasing just a moment ago was one of the, I'll say it, the greatest failure on my piece of shit car's part. The single greatest, to reference one of our first podcasts, its greatest boner. You recall that reference?
Yes.
Its
boner.
biggest,
its greatest boner. I do remember that.
My car's biggest and greatest boner of all time was the time that Ben and I were driving to Springfield, Illinois, to do something. I don't know, probably disc golf. And we were and we had stopped in Jacksonville to go to a gas station. Leaving the gas station. And I think
there's a Love's attached to a Taco John's.
Yeah, a little backstory. There's Taco John's next to it. We're leaving the gas station, get back onto the road that leads to the on-ramp. And the car that I had, there was a car that was coming up, and I was pulling out in front of it, but it was back a ways. As I was pulling out, I realized, oh, this guy's kind of going fast, and I realized I got to get up to speed. So try to get up to speed. Remember when I just talked about 0 to 60? This car doesn't have one of those. It has a 0 to fucking nothing. Because guess what it did? I went from 0 to nothing again, because I didn't floor it. I just kind of pushed the gas a little bit more than usual. It maybe got to, I don't know, I wasn't really looking, maybe 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. It wasn't like, it was pretty taxing on the engine. It wasn't redlining. No, it was not red. It was specifically not in the red. Yeah. The engine shuts off. And
not only it shuts off, but it literally, we hear a explosion from the front of your car.
Yeah, it also kicked us like back a little bit. Yeah, it threw us.
The revs flew up about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. It didn't get up to speed. It didn't upshift. What it did was make a extremely violent jerk and an extremely violent crash from the front of the engine, and then it just rolled. Then it just rolled after that.
It wasn't even, if you recall, it wasn't even the first time it had done that. It did that when I think you and I were out at a parking lot one time, just kind of fucking around, and then it did it for me when I was on my way back home one time. I just literally, kind of honestly a similar situation. I just pulled out I realized somebody was going faster than I had expected, kind of got on the gas a little bit, and it died. But all those other times, I shut the car off, take the key out, put it back in, turn it back on, and we're good. This time, didn't fucking happen. I took the key out, fucking tried to turn the key over, no, not only did the the engine not turn over, it didn't even try.
No.
There was no action from the
There
starter.
was nothing from the turning of the key. Nothing happening.
Absolutely nothing happened. So we're sitting there, right? Sitting outside of the Taco John's, looking at this car, no lights, no nothing, just it won't go. So we sit there. I don't know how long we sit there. This was several years ago.
We were at the Taco John's.
Well,
for about 8 hours.
how long were we there before we decided it was time to call for help?
Shit.
You
man.
and
It
I
had
are
to have
both
been-
people. You and I are both people that don't like to call for help.
Yeah, it had to have been almost an hour at least.
We were sitting there for a bit, like
It was a
what
while.
Well, what the frick are we gonna do? You know.
Yeah.
And then so it comes to a situation where we've been sitting there for so long outside the Taco John's. We want to get to where we're going, and time's a wasting, the day's a wasting, and the car's not moving. So I believe at this point I had texted my parents just like, hey, this is going on. And they're like, hey, we can drive out from Quincy. And I'm like, well, you know, my dad lives in Springfield. I could, and that's like 30 minutes. So it's really not that far away. It's like maybe 30 minutes from where he was. So maybe I'll call my dad up. And he was like, yeah, I was out doing this thing. I'm about done. I'll just head over there. I bet. Comes over. His thought was that it could be a bad battery. I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about cars. It could have been for the battery just absolutely exploded itself. We went ahead. We jerked that crap out of the car. Went to like an AutoZone, got it tested. It's all good. Come on back. Pop it back in. Now we're thinking we're gonna have to call a tow truck.
Yeah.
So what we do, you and I, and my dad for a couple minutes before he left, we sit our happy asses. They're not happy at this point, but we sit our asses.
They're just asses.
They're just asses. We sit our asses down in the Taco John's inside eating what the frick ever was in there, probably tacos or something for
John's.
Another couple hours and I know it was another couple hours from that point because that's when, you know, my dad had to go do his thing. We had to get my parents to come from Quincy to take us back to Quincy. So that's at least another hour and a half from that point.
Yeah.
So they came out and we got the tow truck. We got it towed to a tow shop there in Jacksonville, and then we got a ride back to Quincy. But we were at that freaking Taco John's. What would you say we were at there for?
It was past dark.
And we knowing us, we got in the car to go.
Yeah, we were in the car heading to Springfield bright and early to get the most out of the day.
Yeah, and we
boy,
got the most out of the day.
Did we get the most out of the day? We used every hour of that day, in fact. Yeah, that was... And then your car was basically determined to be a catastrophic engine failure and a recall.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? That's not even really the end of the story. Because what had happened from that point was it gets towed from Jacksonville to Quincy, which I don't even want to know how much that costs. I don't know if that got paid.
That's got to be a rough tow bill.
I don't know if that got paid by. I hope it did get paid by my parents. If they did, they never sent me the bill. Which fuck it, if they did, fuck it, thank God for them. But what I hope happened is it got paid by Hyundai because let me finish. What had happened was they got it back to Quincy, got it to the dealership, and they don't look at it. They let us know, and they're like, hey, your engine basically exploded in a way. Catastrophic engine failure. Your car did that, and so did basically everybody else's. All these cars are dead. Yeah. And you just look at the back lot of this dealership, and it's just dead cars for a sea of them. And so I'm like, I bet, when do I get to take my car? And they're like, so what needs to happen now? Because it's broken, is we need a new engine from the ground up in this motherfucker right here. And I said, all right, I get a new engine. That's, I guess, cool, whatever. What's the time frame here? About 6 months. So this car sits in the back lot of the dealership untouched. And I know because I checked on it. Untouched for 6 months.
Literally half a year you didn't have your car.
My parents, who granted they wanted to buy themselves a car anyway. They was just kind of like at some point in the near future we want to buy ourselves a car. They expedited that and got themselves a new car even sooner, so I could drive it, so I could have a car. Thankfully,
Yeah.
again, thank you to them because that was the only way I could get to freaking work.
That was crazy.
That was a rough freaking time. And then I got the car and it's still kind of a shitbox, but it
got a
doesn't
new
explode.
engine now. Everything else except the engine is going bad.
Yeah, it still sucks, but it's almost paid off as we were talking about earlier today.
Yeah, nearly paid off after freaking what, 7 years, something. How long you had that thing?
I remember it being a 6-year loan, which I'll never do again, by the way.
I got a 5-year loan, but by the way I'm looking at it, I think I can get it paid in 3 years.
Well, not only can you pay that down quicker, we're not in the economy to be taking aggressive loans right now.
No.
This is not the economy for it. When I took the loan I did, you alluded to earlier it being a dumb purchase, this car, and you were right. And maybe we'll go into that a little bit. So this is a 2013 Hyundai Sonata we're talking about, and I got it in 2018 is when I got it. And I believe I got it around 60,000 miles. And I paid for this car. And I don't really know what book price was at the time. I'm sure my parents looked it up because, again, I was like 18. I'm an idiot at this point. I don't know anything. My car at the time had a freaking blown head gasket. I had a 88 Cadillac DeVille. I had a hoopty.
Which got resold to somebody else.
Which got resold to somebody else by the dealership somehow. That's cool. And he didn't know about it. I told him about it because I ran into him. I was like, hey, that was my old car. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, oh, did they get the blown head gasket sorted out? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I traded in the dealership for like $400 freaking dollars or some bullshit. It was like nothing trade in. Just because I had a blown head gasket, or it was either a blown head gasket or it was like about to be. It was like red hot, about to be blown, is what my mechanic said. Not them, but what my mechanic said, which was going to be an expensive fix. And I told him, I was like, hey man, that's they said it was like a blown head gasket, like it was going, and they were like, oh yeah, they didn't say anything about that at all. Sick. Well, anyway, but yeah,
I hate dealerships.
Yeah, they're scummy garbage, and I hate them. But yeah, I'm an idiot and was really young and stupid, and I needed a car pronto to get to work. So my parents were like, my parents picked me up from work because I didn't have a functioning car at this point already. They picked me up in, I think this one was a 2016 Sonata, which the unfortunate thing about this, let me tell the whole story. It's honestly kind of a funny story. So they picked me up in the 2016 Sonata. And we are driving around. I'm driving around in it, and I'm like, I really like this car. This is a really nice car. We go back to the dealership, and we're talking paperwork and whatever. And my stepdad, who love the guy, he's a super great guy, but he's very much like a bit standoffish with salespeople, understandably in a lot of ways.
Rightfully so.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of like trying to cut through the bullshit in a way. So the guy puts down the paperwork for the 2016 and kind of like slyly mentions that it was a Hertz vehicle. It was a rental vehicle at one point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember this.
And then immediately, I think what had happened was the way that the guy presented it as kind of like an afterthought pissed my stepdad off as like, oh, this guy's trying to like sell us a rental vehicle without really making it clear. And like he literally like threw the paper away. Like we're not addressing this car. We're not looking at this car. And that's what got us to the 2013. The ironic thing about all this is that the 2016 straight up would not have the problem the 2013 has.
Yeah, it would have been probably engine. The better buy.
Hindsight's 2020, but my 2020 vision is seeing that the 2016 would have been a better buy because of the fact that it's not it was like the 2011, 2012, and 2013, and maybe 2014 era of the Sonata were like really shit. But yeah, that was what had happened was, and then he's like, oh, we're not looking at the 2016. And then he was like, I mean, around that price range, we've got a 2013 with similar miles, or with, oh no, it was fewer, my bad. It was fewer miles because the 2016 had 80, I remember, the 2016 had 80,000 and the 2013 had 60. So it was like a lot more miles in a shorter amount of time on the 2016, but fewer miles and more time on those for those miles on the 2013, and a similar price, I believe. Price being about $12,000, which is a lot of money.
For a 2013 60,000 mile Sonata in 2018.
Right. Granted, at that point, that car was, what, 5 years old? Yeah, 5 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's relatively recent car-ish at the time, you know, like, that'd be like right now buying a 2019, which is certainly not new, but, you know, modern.
It's recent. Yeah.
You know? So, like, I don't know. I feel like I got ripped off a little bit, especially considering the way it went. But yeah, we picked up the 2013 at $12,000, and since I'm broke,
Yikes.
at this point, especially I'm working part time at the grocery store. We did the maximum. I believe it was a 6-year loan. Does that math even work out? Is this?
Well, what's the payment on a 6-year loan over $12,000? $12,000 over 6
We've
years.
talked about this before.
We had this conversation, and you thought you were paying it longer than you initially anticipated.
Well, I mean, my payments are roughly like $230, but I got it refinanced at one point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You did mention that.
But it shouldn't matter. So 230, because it was roughly the same anyway. So about 230. Well, it's about 233 times 12 for the year times 6. Well, that gets you almost 17 thou wow.
Was that what it was with interest?
Maybe with interest. I freaking hope not.
That's what your monthly payment would be the total price with interest.
Yeah. All that to say,
That's a fucking lot.
that's a lot. And all that to say,
Jesus Christ. This is why you pay down your loans faster than just
Yeah.
paying minimum monthly payments.
and I'm an idiot for not doing that. I mean, I've paid ahead. I've paid a little bit ahead on that loan, a little bit, which is why it's thankfully rapidly approaching being paid off sooner. But Christ Almighty, like if I could go back and do it again, which I can't. So what I'll say instead is when I buy a car in the future, which is a more appropriate thing to talk about, when I buy a car in the future, I will learn the lessons I've learned from that car purchase. And first of all, not take that long of loans, because you're just absolutely pissing money away at that point.
Yeah.
You're paying so much money in interest at that point. So definitely shorter loans, or just pay down the loan as quickly as possible.
Pay it faster, yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's what we were saying about your loan is like, you don't necessarily have to take a 3-year loan. You know, if you
take a longer loan, your monthly payments will be lower, but I know it depends on where you get the loan, but I think most loan issuers are gonna have no penalty with early paydowns. Mine does not. I would not accept a loan if there was an early paydown.
Oh,
penalty.
absolutely not. Me neither.
No chance.
No, that's wild to me.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous.
But yeah, that is definitely a major takeaway. Is
you just don't walk into a freaking dealership and say, "I need a car,"
yeah,
and then get car. Do research.
Yeah,
I was looking for shit. My car was purchased not even that long ago, maybe 6 months, 7 months. And my 03 Cadillac was like, oh shit, 160 something thousand miles on it. It was dying in more ways than one. It had gotten to the point of being a literal danger to me and the people around me. So
that car was bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, not that, you know, early or late 2023 was a good time to purchase a used car, because much like real estate right now, the car market is also vastly inflated. So it was a really bad time, but I didn't really have any options. But more buts to this. I did research I kept looking at prices and dealers and places for like 4 months before that, just hoping that my tie rods didn't snap and I lose my steering, because they had been my tie rod had I believe it was like a massive ass crack in it, according to Russ from Midas.
Yeah.
And that I was instructed, do not leave the city with this because you might straight up lose steering and kill someone or yourself.
There's a lot of mechanics out there that fuck people over, but one thing about Russ that I love,
this
our
guy
mechanic that we go to
is not one of those.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mentioned that Cadillac earlier that I had, the 88. It was a similar situation where like I had that either blown or about to blow head gasket, probably about to blow, and he comes to me. He said, "Now," he looks at me and says, "Now, this head gasket is about to blow." He's like, "What I could do is I could say now, I could fix this for you right now for $2,000. I could say that to you right now." He said, "But what I'm instead going to say to you is that this car's not worth that. And what I'm instead going to say to you is get a new car." Is what I've
Effectively,
instructed you
that's
to
what
do.
he said to me. Because not only was my tie rod deeply cracked, but up to that point where I had taken it to the shop and talked to him, my wiper blades did not work. My what else didn't work? My tires were pretty out of alignment. There was something wrong with my back right tire to where it kept, or I believe it was my back left, my driver's side rear tire, where it kept fucking exploding. So I don't know what it was, but something wrong with the wheel.
Some tires exploding is not what you want to have as a common feature in your car.
I had 4 flat tires in that one tire, in that one wheel, over the lifespan of that car. One of them was blown while we were going 70 on an interstate.
That was That was a terrifying experience.
That was honestly, we came out of that luckier than we probably should have.
And that was the thing about that experience, was that blew, I believe, while we were passing somebody. Wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. I believe we were in the right side lane. Yeah.
Because I was almost certain that we were in the we were merging back into the right lane after passing, was how I remembered it. Because I remember thinking right after, I was like, man, if that blew like just a couple seconds earlier, it could have been catastrophic. I might be making that up.
I don't remember that
Or maybe the reason I'm thinking of an additional car was what that actual thought was. I'm really glad somebody wasn't there, like behind us or something. But yeah, for some reason my memory might be altered in that way. But either way, that was a very scary experience.
That was a very dangerous moment that we came out luckier than we should have. But anyway, that happened 3 other times, just not quite on the interstate. So there's something fucking wrong with that wheel that I never figured out, never got to the bottom of.
And now you don't have to.
And now I don't have to. But, oh man, what else was wrong? There was not a single fluid except antifreeze that wasn't leaking. Antifreeze was the only fluid in that vehicle that wasn't leaking. Everything else was. Oil, fucking brake fluid, the transmission fluid, the windshield wipers, everything. The antifreeze was leaking too, but I got that one fixed. But everything else is leaking.
You put a significant amount of money into that car.
I did. Because my brake lines also blew. Also a very dangerous thing to happen in a car. But luckily, I was in the parking lot of the grocery store that we got these zero sugar mug root beers from. I was in the parking lot. Back. Yeah, just to wrap it all back here. I was in that parking lot. I was not driving on the street. Thank God. So basically this, I don't know how I didn't see this sooner, but there are a lot of things in this car that could have caused the death of me or somebody else, or both. But I got lucky that it didn't happen.
That's a wild.
And I'm it's only a matter of luck that the tie rod didn't snap when I'm driving too, because who knows when that would have happened. Regardless, I was driving this car in this state, in this is a dangerous thing to be doing right now state, for a while, like a year. And in the latter half of that year, when I finally decided to get my wiper blades fixed because I was tired of driving in the rain with no wiper blades, I what Russ told me, he's like, hey, it's time for a new car. Then I was like, all right, I believe it's time for a new car.
If a mechanic tells you they don't want to take your money.
He did not want to take my money, but it wasn't my money. The place I worked at the time, I had the best boss I have ever had. He offered to completely repair everything that was wrong with my car, because he thought it was important for me to get to and from work safely. And he had an account with Midas that we worked with, and he was just like, you know what? Take your car in, get shit fixed. Just whatever it is, fix it. If he says something, fix it. He'd take it in, get it fixed. And I got it. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. But Russ didn't want to waste his money, because that is what it would be. Like, he literally had every chance to gain literal thousands of dollars in repairs for this car, and he didn't do it because he understood just how much of a waste of money putting it into this piece of shit would be. So this guy, when he says, yeah, you're going to die in this thing, I tend to believe him, because he's rejecting thousands of dollars to tell me that.
Good guy. Shout out to Russ.
Awesome dude. So that's the point where we start doing research. You and I look at literally every single car lot in Quincy. And not that Quincy, I think Quincy's like, what, 40,000? It's not a huge place, but it has probably like 12 dealerships.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's got a lot of dealerships. Every single one of them did not have a car worth fucking sitting in for the price that they were charged. There were literal Honda Civics that were 2 years old with 20,000 miles that were $4,000 new than MSRP brand new Civics. Like, that's the kind of market I had to buy a goddamn used car in. So that's just what we were up against. But eventually, over the months of us looking at car lots in various places, honestly, this place in Springfield, Illinois, had a number of what seemed like pretty good deals. There was a couple of Chevy Cruzes that we realized were horrible cars after doing research. A Ford Fusion that really almost took me. That was just one sliver away from me buying that one instead of the Acura. I liked
that Fusion, dude.
The Fusion was pretty freaking sick. Except
I would love to buy that Fusion if I was in the market.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good price. Not very many miles, only like 70,000. It was a pretty good car. Drove well. The only thing was, when I test drove it, I was deeply uncomfortable because the motorized seat didn't work.
Oh, that's right. And you were like, you were like scrunched up?
Yeah,
or some
crap?
I
couldn't. I hated it. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest turnoffs. But if that wasn't the case, and I know that the piece of shit salesman offered to fix it, because when I say piece of shit salesman, I mean it in this case. I don't mean just like all salesmen are pieces. No, this one fucking guy was a literal piece of absolute apathetic shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
That guy. I mean, like, his problem though was like you'd bring up a valid concern, he'd be like, yeah, we'll take care of that, and you're like, but will you though? Because the shit was sitting on the lot for months, and they were like, yeah, we've been planning on getting to that.
That was the one thing that almost made me not buy the TL. Is it had been on their lot for 3 months. unmoved for 3 months and nothing. Like, I'm like, why are people not buying this? Like, what's the problem? It was, so my TL, 2013 TL, 15 grand, 50,000 miles. We test drove it. Pretty much everything, all the boxes were checked. Like, there was no identifiable problems. I went into it knowing that it was over 10 years old and probably hadn't had a timing belt change. So that was pretty much the only thing I could think of that I would need to get fixed in it, other than it had a small crack in the windshield. The passenger side bumper was pretty scratched up, and the passenger seat belt was gone. And I brought all these concerns up to him, except the timing belt one. He has no obligation to replace that. So we brought the other three concerns, the windshield, the bumper, and the seatbelt. And he's just like, oh, yeah, well, that's no problem. We'll get that fixed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how he sounded, too. Like, exactly. So I wanted to buy it for $13,000 with those problems. But he said, yeah, we've already come down in prices with this. We can't go any lower, which is bullshit, by the way. That's not how that works. But he said he would get all those things fixed for just the lot price. And we left his office and debated the TL and the Fusion for like 30 minutes. I pulled us out of the office for one specific reason, and that was because I could tell that you were getting pissed off at this guy. I was getting angry with this guy. And that guy didn't give a shit. And he didn't give that was only going to continue to piss you off more. So I was like, you and I need to have a conversation about this car, and this guy can't be anywhere in sight. Yeah. So I said, I think we're going to go take a look at the car one more time. And he was like, yeah, just let me know when you're done. I was like, yeah, we fucking will, asshole. Yeah. God. And I know that we're not fully... He wasn't an asshole just because he sounded like he was fucking high. Like, he was dismissive. He was completely disconcerted with any emotion we had. 100% apathetic, literal robot, as you might say. And yeah, he also just outright literally lied to us about that warranty thing. Literally just lied, like, to our faces. Right. So, what was the lowdown about that? I don't recall. We wanted an out the door price. Lot price $15,000. We wanted out the door price. He said like 17 or 16,998 or something like that. It would effectively 17 grand. And I said, break down everything that makes that price. And he gave me documents fee, which was like 400 something bucks, plates, and registration. That was it. He said those are the only three things that make this go from $15,000 to $17,000. And I'm like, just those three things? And he said, yes, that is what makes this price go up. And I said, okay, because I wasn't trying to get sold a warranty or some dealer shit. Dealer shit. Yeah. So I believe I asked that after we had concluded that we think we're going to go with this car. Right. Because before that we were still trying to get it down in price or get those things fixed. So yeah, so at this point I'm just tired I hate this guy. I'm tired of this dude. So we get it. He tells us to go to a place down the street where we can do paperwork. We go down the street, do all the paperwork. I'm tired at this point. I'm just like, let's fucking get through this. You shouldn't have that mindset when you're signing documents. No. So I sign all these documents and find later on, after I get the copies of the documents back.
Yeah, we were on the way back at that point.
That I had just signed a $500 30-day like off the lot warranty,
which was built into the price.
Which was built into the $17,000 price that he literally straight up lied about not existing.
It's wild.
Literal piece of shit.
That's wild.
Now, it's my own goddamn fault. It could have been avoided if I was paying attention to what I was signing. So, at the end of the day, I'm the one that signed it. And I'm the one that, I was the last factor in getting scammed here. But, yeah, that guy fucking sucks.
No, it'd be nice to be able to trust the word of people.
Yeah, no shit. This is one reason why I hate dealerships, dude. And so the agreement was we're gonna get the seatbelt, the windshield, and the bumper fixed, and we'll be back in a week. And I will say, the entire process of waiting was miserable because we were on our way back in, and only on our way back to Springfield, which is almost 2 hours away for us, do I get told that, yeah, the windshield wasn't done. You're going to have to take it to another place to get it done. And I'm like, are you fucking me?
Are you fucking me?
So I'm pissed, about to get a freaking, not a brand new car, but new car to me, a not dangerous car. We go to pick up the car. The guy drives up with it, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, it actually did get replaced. The windshield got fixed. I must have missed it." And then the seatbelt, albeit not OEM because it's black and the other ones are tan, it got replaced. I didn't really care about that much. And they buffed out the bumper. So everything's fine now. But yeah, miserable experience. If I had options to go elsewhere and prolong this a little bit longer and not drive something that was a literal danger, I would have. I don't care if that was a good deal. It was at the time. It was book price. But if I had the option to just be like, literally shove your entire fist up your own ass and stick it out your mouth and just leave, I would have, and take my money elsewhere, because that was a miserable dealership.
That's probably why he's an asshole. It's because he knows that people need cars and they actually have a good price.
They were the only place in like a 70-mile radius that had like actual decent book prices.
And we were desperate. So you were desperate, but I was taking you all this shit, so we were desperate by extension to go here, because we even knew the place was kind of shit as far as service goes, because your dad told you that it was.
My dad purchased a Nissan, I think it was a Sentra, and he had the exact same experience with this piece of shit. And he warned me about him. And I'm like, all right, noted. I'll ask him the out-the-door price and ask him to break it down for me. And I did.
Little did that matter.
Still fucking got me. Yeah.
Little did direct questions matter.
Yeah. Fucking piece of shit. Yeah. Well, we've rambled on quite a bit now.
A lot of that was car talk.
This up. Yeah, a lot of car talk. A lot of shit. Missing exits, taking the wrong turns, yours exploding, and me driving a danger to the world. But we better wrap this up. So, appreciate you listening. Go listen to the Reddit Would You Rather for some context on that consciousness crap. Or just, if you want to, because we're funny.
Are we there?
No. Anyway, so we'll see you guys next week, and peace out.
See ya.